And here we are back at the Island Club. I'm Brent Gorta, and I've got Chubby Park on the line here from all the way from Mulby Grove, talking to him about Wakaama paddling. Chubby, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Ed. Yep.
Good. Okay, I've pressed all the right buttons by the sounds of it. Look, we were talking about getting the waka out on next Sunday at 1 o'clock and paddling a bit, but it's going to be the first time for a few people there, but it's certainly not the first time for you. How long have you been paddling?
I think the first time I ever hopped in the waka was 2004. How that actually came about was my husband Brian works for Ports of Auckland, and there was a guy down there called Pete Wainui, and he used to paddle, and he sort of said to Brian, we're short one woman, we're looking for a woman for our team. And Brian being a man, goes, my missus has got big shoulders, I'll ask her if she wants to have a go. So, yeah, he asked me, and I went down and met up with the girls on a Sunday, and it was actually an all-police women's team. And I joined them, and that was it. It was no looking back. That's how I started. And I actually think the lady, my steerer, which was my coach as well, her name is Georgie Ware. Mate, she was the one that actually got me into paddling singles as myself, because we were all standing there one day, and she just pointed at me. She said, "You're in the nationals. You're going to go and compete in an OC1." And I went, "Oh Jesus, I've never been in one." But she said, "No, you're going to go. You've got what it takes," and that was it for me. And I eventually, and it took me a few years to get there, but in my OC1 New Zealand champ, I came third in 2010. So I'm third in New Zealand in my OC1. And I just grew with that team, that club, who was called Pupuki Moana, and then what happened was I sort of outgrew them because I was older than a lot of them, so I had to move on to another club who was called Taniwha, and I had a coach called Ben Fanau, who actually worked with Gibbo on the island here, and what a great coach he was, and still is. And he led us to being 3 times New Zealand champ in the year 2008, 2009, and 2010. We come home with 3 gold medals each year. Like I say, hard work, but well worth it when you go over that line and you've won. And sometimes, it's like nanoseconds. It's nanoseconds that you win by, and it's just, it's unbelievable. But the feeling of going over the line first is an amazing feeling. And standing on that podium, in one year we had Mahi Drysdale he gave us our medals, our gold medals, and put them around our neck, and shook our hands, and that was awesome, because himself, he's a 5-time world champion, rowing, as everyone knows.
That's very impressive.
Yeah.
But you've been overseas as well with the New Zealand team, haven't you?
Yeah, that was, I went through a process of qualifying to represent New Zealand in the World Championships in Sacramento, and that was 2008. You've got to have qualifying times, and, you've got the whole of New Zealand you're competing against to get in these top teams. And I happened, I worked hard for it and got there and got in the top team, and that there is huge. When you are sitting on the start line at a world championship and it's just silent, you're just sitting there waiting for the gun to go, and it's just so much going on in your head, and you're actually praying. You're sitting on this line and you just have a little minute, Yeah. Mm.
And then what does it feel like when you come home as the first boat across the line?
Well, tears. It actually makes me want to cry now, just thinking about it.
Well, let's not have you cry. That's just it's worth celebrating. That's good.
It is. It's a big thing to do, and to come home with 2 gold medals, it's like huge. But it's all good, all good.
It is, of course, winning in any sport, and of course this weekend we're getting quite excited about the World Cup going on there with the New Zealand team. It is all about winning competition, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I mean, that's what you get out there for, and it's just, you need to have a goal. Like, when you get out there, you need to set yourself a goal and why you've got a reason for being out there. And I think that's what draws people back to it. So, if we had some teams come over here to race us, I mean, then you've got a goal set, and that might drag people out a bit more and, make them commit themselves a bit more, because that's what it's about, I mean, okay, you can get out there for fun and have a paddle, but it's good to have a goal to, head towards.
And do you think that's a goal we can have here on the island, that we have teams visiting here with their big wakas?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've already spoken to the lady who organises the New Zealand National Champs. She was out here, and she knocked on my door here down at the lodge, and I nearly fell over. I thought, oh my God. And I took her out the front here and I said, can you see what I can see? And she had the vision I've got, is seeing all the wakas out on this front lawn. It all set up an international race. You bring everyone in from overseas, and what it does for this island, it'd bring huge revenue to this island, and have races here. And what it would be the most awesome thing is if we had a team to put on that race. I mean, how would that be?
We'd be hosting it as proper paddlers rather than just providing accommodation.
Yeah,
that would be pretty exciting. And I think it's a destination that would attract people just because it's an exotic, different location. It is, after all, we were discovered by paddlers originally, so there's that whole history side to it, and the paddling waka amas, of course, here in New Zealand has got a long pedigree that goes back a long time.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. So, I mean, that could be, further vision here that we can look at. And she definitely was keen to get something set up, but, it'd take a lot of putting it together, of course. But,
Still, if you're listening and you think about turning up on Sunday, who knows? One day you might end up competing against New Zealand's best here just in Tryphena Harbour.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, look, I want to talk to you a little bit more about just how paddlers are organised and compete and get round to paddling here in New Zealand. But I just wanted to have a break here and then get back to that. Can we talk about that in the next segment?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good. We'll just stop it here and then kind of come back after this track of music.